This is not just a message, it is a divine interception. You didn't arrive here by curiosity, boredom, or mere interest. Something beyond the veil has drawn you in, and something ancient, sacred, and urgent is seeking your attention. A loved one who has crossed into the light is reaching across realms, straining through the veil of eternity to get this message to you. They have seen what you cannot see. They have felt the shift in your atmosphere, and they know that if you ignore the signs now, you may walk blindly into a storm that could have been avoided. This message comes with weight, with urgency, with divine permission. There has been a stirring in your spirit. You sensed a presence around you, gentle yet persistent. You felt cold breezes with no open windows, heard your name whispered when no one was near, seen shadows pass even in stillness. This is not imagination. This is a sacred soul reaching across dimensions, and with them, Archangel Michael stands guard, sword in hand, delivering not just protection, but a command. You are being warned, not to frighten you, but to free you. You are being shown, not to punish but to preserve. A shift is coming, and if you turn away now, you will miss the instruction that could alter everything. You're not being haunted, you're being alerted. This is not fear, it's foresight. The voice of heaven is making contact, and the moment you give it your full attention, everything hidden begins to move. Type 111 if you feel the veil thinning, for this number will align your spirit with the light of this divine warning. You're not imagining this. You're not mistaken. And you are certainly not alone. You have been spiritually summoned, yes, you. Right now, as you hear these words, understand that heaven's eyes are upon you. This moment was divinely chosen, carved out of time, and delivered straight into your atmosphere because something unseen has grown too dangerous to ignore. Loved one who has crossed the threshold of this world into the eternal is speaking, and I, Archangel Michael, am delivering their message not as suggestion, not as theory, but as warning, as a divine alert. The whisper in your dreams, a lingering sense that someone is trying to reach you, the random memory that triggers tears from nowhere. These were not accidents. These were invitations, and you have finally answered. You are standing at the edge of a spiritual revelation. You are standing on the threshold between knowing and not knowing, between divine protection and dangerous ignorance. And I must say this clearly, if you dismiss what is unfolding now, you may regret it in ways you cannot yet imagine. This is your divine interruption. This is your sacred interception. Not a coincidence, not a lucky scroll, not another video in your feed. This is the Spirit pressing pause on your life to speak directly to you. Because the timeline you are on, it is not safe. The energy surrounding you, it is not neutral. And the decisions you are about to make, they are not minor. What you do after hearing this message may determine whether a storm is avoided or endured. That is how serious this moment is. Listen closely. There is a countdown in the Spirit, and a choice must be made. A vibration in your life has been off. You sensed it, you've questioned it, but you couldn't name it. That uncertainty wasn't weakness, it was sensitivity. Heaven does not whisper warnings to the indifferent. Only those spiritually in tune receive this kind of interception. And because you've been open, because you've been sensitive, this message is your confirmation. It's the sign your soul has been crying for. The loved one who is reaching for you now was not just someone who passed, they were someone assigned to you in love. They still carry your essence in their eternal memory. They have seen what's forming around you. They have seen what others cannot. And their spirit is pacing beside you, desperate to make you hear what must be heard. You've ignored your instincts before and paid the price. But now, they are intervening with the weight of heaven behind them. I speak to your soul now with fire and certainty. Do not let this message fall to the floor. Do not treat it lightly. You have been surrounded by energies pretending to be harmless. There is a deception wearing the mask of care, and your loved one has seen it. Your spirit has felt it. And I, Michael, am here to remove the veil once and for all. But first, you must awaken. You must rise. You must listen not later, but now. You weren't just guided here. You were called into remembrance, called into warning, called into protection. The heavens are speaking. The spirit world is shifting, and your name has been spoken among the watchers. Prepare yourself, because what is coming will test your discernment and shake your trust. But it will also reveal who is truly for you and who has only ever been for themselves. Now type 333 in the comments if your spirit is stirring, for this number activates divine clarity and spiritual alertness in your atmosphere. There is someone who has been interfering with your journey. They didn't come with horns. They didn't arrive as a threat. In fact, they presented themselves as a friend, a guide, a helper, even a soulmate. But what they brought with them was not peace, it was depletion. What they offered was not alignment, it was entanglement. And I must speak plainly now, because the danger of subtle sabotage is far greater than outright attack. You've been under the influence of an energy that has slowly, methodically, drained you. And the most dangerous part, you almost convinced yourself it was love. You felt the shift before you could explain it. You saw the change in your own reflection, tired eyes, restless thoughts, a heavy spirit. There were days you couldn't pray, nights you couldn't sleep, conversations that left you more confused than clear. You tried to adjust, to rationalize, to tell yourself you were just being emotional. But your intuition wasn't overreacting, it was under siege. Every time you questioned what you felt, you were being pushed further from your center. Every time you doubted your inner knowing, you were being drawn deeper into a spiritual fog. This wasn't confusion, it was calculation. The one who stood beside you didn't just want your affection, they wanted your energy. They fed off your light. They needed your open heart to mask their hidden void. And even when they knew they were costing you peace, they stayed. Not because they didn't know better, but because they did. They saw your spiritual gifts and felt the threat. They heard your voice and knew its authority. They watched your rise and feared it. So they didn't sabotage you openly, they did it sweetly, vitally, carefully, enough to weaken but not enough to be exposed. But now, the divine light is rising. Now, the veil is being lifted. And now, your loved one who passed, who once saw this person through human eyes, sees them now through eternal truth. And they are sounding the alarm. They are showing you the patterns you missed, the moments you dismissed, the exhaustion you normalized. They are revealing the betrayal not as a wound, but as a wake-up call, not to break you, but to break the bond that was never built in light. You may have questioned why the connection felt so hard, why progress seemed stalled, why peace was always temporary. The answer was never in your flaws, it was in their motives. They never wanted to build, they wanted to bind. They never intended to grow with you, only to grow from you. And while they spoke of love, their energy fed off your spiritual sight. They disguised their need as devotion, but it was dependency. And now, heaven is making it known. The Spirit is unmasking the influence. And you are not weak for missing the signs. You are not naive for trusting. You were simply too pure to believe in such hidden intentions. But now that you see, you must choose. Now that it's exposed, you must act. Because once the light reveals, heaven holds you accountable for what you do with that revelation. No more pretending. No more delaying. No more spiritual blindness. What was once hidden is now in plain sight. And I, Archangel Michael, tell you, do not go back. Do not rebind what heaven is untying. The one who passed is speaking through every nudge in your chest, every stirring in your gut, every tear that rises without reason. They are telling you, wake up now, or you will regret this silence forever. Type 555 if you feel the interference being named, because this number activates spiritual release and divine separation from what no longer serves your calling. You've seen it. You've felt it. You've questioned it. But now, I, Archangel Michael, speak with the voice of the realm beyond to tell you none of it was random. That dream you kept having, the one with the snake slithering across your path or hiding under a bed, that was not nonsense. That was not your imagination running wild. That was a warning in symbols. That was your subconscious receiving what your conscious mind could not yet translate. And the moment you dismissed it, the spirit who loves you most whispered, "Please don't ignore that again." How many times did the number 333 or 111 appear on clocks, receipts, license plates, phone notifications? How many times did a name repeat that you hadn't heard in years? How often did a candle flicker when no wind blew, or a light bulb burst with no cause, or a mirror seemed to reflect more than your own image? These were not coincidences. These were confirmations. These were moments when the veil between worlds thinned just enough for spirit to slip through and say, "Pay attention. You're being guided. Don't dismiss what's divine." There were mornings you woke up gasping 3:33 a.m. Again. Why that hour? Because it is the hour where spiritual activity is highest, when the veil is softest, when angelic and ancestral energies come closest to the realm of men. When you felt your palms burning, or your crown tingling, or a sudden flush of emotion sweeping over you in a quiet room, these were not anxiety attacks. These were awakenings. These were touch points from the ones watching over you. But until now, you hadn't connected the pattern. Until now, you hadn't realized it was divine surveillance. The bird that perched outside your window and wouldn't leave, the butterfly that followed you through the park, the cat that stared through your soul. Do you think that was ordinary? When animals behave unnaturally, spirit is near. When nature starts mimicking attention, the heavens are trying to deliver a message. And that loved one who passed, they have been using these forms. They have been allowed to borrow the winds, the flicker, the echo, the wing, the rhythm, because they are desperate to get your attention before it's too late. And now that you know this, now that you hear me confirming what your soul already suspected, the responsibility shifts. You can no longer chalk it up to weirdness or brush it off as mood swings. Heaven speaks in pattern. Spirit speaks in symbol. And you've been receiving both loudly. Repeated numbers, recurring dreams, objects moving, sudden exhaustion, random waves of peace amid chaos. These are signs. These are warnings. These are validations. And above all, these are messages from the other side saying, you are not alone. You are not lost. But you must act now. Don't fall asleep to your own awakening. Don't close your eyes to what heaven keeps opening. You asked for a sign. You begged for confirmation. This is it. This is them. This is the message that says, danger is near, but you can still turn. The moment you recognize these signs as divine communication, you shift your atmosphere. You align with heaven's intelligence. You move from confusion into command. And you break the spell of sabotage that once cloaked itself in care. Type 444 in the comments now if you've experienced any of these signs, because this number anchors angelic presence and divine intelligence into your field and signals to your loved one that you are finally receiving the message. The time of pretending is over. The season of fog has lifted. You are no longer walking blind, you are walking with sight. And the unmasking has already begun. It started the moment you began to feel uneasy around what once brought comfort. It started the moment you began noticing little inconsistencies, energy shifts, misalignments. You didn't need to search for the truth, it began surfacing on its own. And that, beloved one, is the work of the divine. It is me, Archangel Michael, answering the cry for clarity, stepping into your life not just with light, but with holy exposure. There will be a moment very soon, if it hasn't happened already, where the deception will slip. They will say too much, or too little. They will forget the lies they told. They will react when no one accused them. A confession, a mistake, a broken pattern, they will reveal themselves. But hear me now. You do not need to provoke this moment. You do not need to force it. Heaven is already orchestrating the exposure. This battle is not yours. This unveiling is not by your hand, it is by divine justice. You may see a post online. You may overhear a conversation. You may dream the exact scene they tried to hide from you and then wake to a physical confirmation. This is not imagination. This is prophecy. You are not guessing, you are receiving. And the more you remain in spiritual stillness, the more truth will rise to the surface. The more you honor your peace, the louder their chaos will become. Because the one who lied cannot live in your aligned energy. They will suffocate in your clarity. Heaven does not allow hidden harm to go on forever. There is always a reckoning. And your loved one on the other side, they've seen the full picture. They are no longer guessing at motives. They have watched this interference operate behind closed doors. And now, with holy urgency, they are standing beside you, pressing on your awareness, whispering in your dreams, tightening the grip of discernment around your heart. They are not just mourning the betrayal, they are pushing for its full exposure. Do not be surprised when strange shifts begin to occur. Don't fear the silence that follows. When the unmasking happens, the saboteur often vanishes. Let them. Don't chase clarity you already have. Don't seek closure when heaven has already closed the door. Your only task now is to remain aligned, stay awake, and let the exposure complete itself. You are not the judge, you are the protected one. You are not the weapon, you are the preserved one. Let divine justice complete what divine eyes have already seen. You will know it's real when the confirmation strikes you in your spirit like thunder. When what you feared to say becomes what they accidentally reveal. When what you felt intuitively becomes what they show outwardly. The mask is slipping. The truth is rising. The heavens are moving. And your protection is not passive, it is powerful. Stay still. Stay surrendered. Stay spiritually ready. This is not the end, it's the unveiling. And the unveiling always precedes your next level. What was meant to confuse you is now being commanded to expose itself. What was meant to delay you is now being dragged into the light. Type 777 in the comments now if you feel this truth rising in your atmosphere. This number seals the unmasking and aligns your spirit with divine revelation and angelic justice. You have lost time. You have lost trust. You have lost pieces of yourself in silent wars no one else even knew you were fighting. But let me speak this clearly and with authority. What was taken from you was never lost in the eyes of heaven. What was delayed in your life was not denied. It was divinely protected. You cried over closed doors, not realizing they were sealed for your survival. You wept over missed connections, unaware that they were shields in disguise. You mourned a love that never matured, not knowing it was never pure. And now, in this hour, the heavens are revealing the purpose behind every delay. I saw it all. I, Archangel Michael, stood watch as your heart extended itself, open and vulnerable, to those who had no intention of handling it with holiness. I saw the prayers you whispered into your pillow. I felt the tension in your chest when things kept slipping out of your grasp. I witnessed the inner battles, the confusion, the disappointment, the weariness. But I also saw the angels dispatched to hold back what was not ready, the job you didn't get, the relationship that fell apart, the opportunity that suddenly dried up. You saw rejection. We saw protection. And though your spirit felt forgotten, you were in fact being hidden. Hidden not because you were unworthy, but because your value was too high to be placed in the wrong hands. You were covered, guarded, preserved. Heaven recalibrated your path, not to punish but to prepare. Because had you succeeded on the timeline you wanted, you would have succeeded in the presence of a saboteur. And what they couldn't stop, they would have surely tried to sabotage. You feel it now. The weight you carried was not weakness, it was a warning. The tiredness wasn't failure, it was a forced pause. And now I speak this into your soul. The tide is turning. The reversal is beginning. The delay was divine. The misalignment was a message. And now, what was once blocked will begin to open, but only on the frequency of your awareness. You must walk with wisdom now. You must protect your peace the same way heaven protected your progress. You didn't lose it. You were being preserved. What belongs to you is not gone, it's waiting on the other side of alignment. What was meant for you has not been given to another. It is orbiting your life, ready to descend the moment you walk fully in truth, discernment, and holy instruction. You will not just recover, you will rise. You will not just heal, you will reign. But you must understand the cost of delay was for your crown, not your curse. Do not look back. Do not long for what once was. Nothing taken in deception is worth reclaiming. Let the past grieve itself. Let the delay teach you. Let the spirit rebuild you. Because what's ahead is too pure to be entered with the wounds of what was. Your loved one knows this. That's why they came. That's why they keep visiting your dreams, your memories, your atmosphere. They are saying, what's yours is still yours. But you must walk in truth now to receive it. Type 888 in the comments if your spirit feels the shift. This number activates divine restoration and the acceleration of all that was delayed for your protection. The shift has begun. Even if you can't explain it yet, you can feel it. The pressure is changing. The air feels different. The weight on your chest has lessened. The confusion is clearing like fog after a storm. This is not your imagination. This is not temporary relief. This is spiritual breakthrough. This is what happens when the lie loses power, when the cord of manipulation begins to fray, when the grip of energy that was never meant for you starts to release. And it won't be loud. It won't be dramatic. Don't expect fireworks. This shift won't be loud, it will be sacred. You'll find yourself breathing deeper, thinking clearer, hearing God again. You'll sit in silence and feel peace rather than panic. You'll wake up without dread and go to sleep without spiraling. This is what liberation feels like. This is what happens when heaven clears the path that once kept cycling the same confusion. What once felt like spiritual warfare is now dissolving into sacred stillness. And yes, the silence may come. The person who once stirred your spirit may suddenly fall quiet. Don't chase that silence. Don't mourn the absence. That silence is not rejection, it's revelation. They have nothing left to say, because the energy they once fed on is no longer accessible. You've shifted. You've ascended. You've unplugged your soul from their chaos, and they can feel it. They may even try to re-enter, but it will not feel the same, because you are no longer the same. And that loved one who passed, they are rejoicing in this moment. They've waited for this shift in your life. They've put for this detachment in the spirit. They've fought to bring you to this place of clarity, because they see what's ahead of you. They know what's being prepared. And they want you fully free, fully open, fully aligned. No more sabotage. No more spiritual noise. No more emotional blackmail disguised as love. This is your hour of breakthrough. This is your sacred exit. Do not minimize what you're feeling right now. The tears that fall for no reason, the deep breaths you suddenly take, the visions returning to your dreams, the way certain places or people now feel foreign to you. These are signs. These are confirmations. Your spirit is recalibrating. Your mind is rewiring. Your energy field is being reinforced with divine clarity. You are not weak, you are awakening. You are not breaking, you are being broken open. And now, things will begin to move. What was taut will loosen. What was cloudy will sharpen. What was lost will begin to return, but in better form, better alignment, better energy. You will meet people whose presence feels like peace, not pressure. You will see doors open without you forcing them. You will attract what your healed self deserves, not what your wounded self tolerated. The shift is sacred, protected. Don't explain it to those who benefited from your confusion. Don't water it down for those who preferred you in spiritual fog. Walk forward, with certainty, with confidence, with divine boldness, because your spirit is no longer bound, and that changes everything. Type 999 in the comments if you can feel this shift in your spirit. This number seals your spiritual breakthrough and aligns you with the highest vibrational frequency of divine completion and sacred rebirth. Just before your final breakthrough, the old cycle will come back, but dressed differently. It won't come with chaos. It won't come with obvious deception. No, this time, it will come with calm words, with soft guys, with subtle invitations. He will say things like, "I've changed," or "I just want to talk," or "Let's clear the air." And if you are not rooted in what you now know, you will confuse this as restoration. But hear me now, it is not. This is not a return to peace. This is the final test. You see, what you walked away from has felt the loss of your energy. The saboteur, whether person, influence, or spirit, has recognized that your power source is no longer fueling their dysfunction. And now they return, not because they've transformed, but because they've noticed your absence. Their life has grown quiet without your light, and rather than doing the deep work of their own healing, they are hoping proximity to you will restore what's broken within them. But you cannot be someone's spiritual shortcut. Do not let nostalgia override discernment. Do not let your heart betray what heaven has already made clear. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. This is not punishment, it is protection. When they come back, they may cry. They may beg. They may show parts of themselves you once prayed to see. But I must warn you, this is not evidence of change. This is emotional bait. This is the counterfeit attempting to match your new frequency through manipulation, not maturity. And your loved one, the one who passed, they are crying out in the spirit right now, pleading with you not to repeat this cycle. They've seen what you haven't. They've witnessed the thoughts, the words, the intentions behind the mask. And they know, if you let this energy back in, it will cost you more this time than it ever has before. The stakes are higher now. The path is narrower. And your soul is too aligned to gamble with dissection again. Let me say this with force and love. Silence is spiritual power. You owe no explanations. You owe no emotional access to those who violated your peace. You are not cruel for choosing protection. You are not unkind for refusing to reopen the door. They'll offer peace, but it's poison. They'll offer apologies, but it's performance. This is not about being unforgiving. This is about not being foolish. Wisdom is not cold, it's holy. You will feel the pull, the emotional gravity, the temptation to check in, to respond, to explain yourself. But I, Archangel Michael, am standing between you and that past. I am shielding you from what your empathy would allow back in, because empathy without boundaries becomes self-betrayal, and you have come too far. Heaven has invested too much. Your breakthrough is too sacred. Don't go back now. This is your final test. Stand firm. Stand still. Do not be moved by memories. Be moved by the Spirit. And when you pass this test, the real restoration begins not with them, but with you. Type 000 in the comments if you choose to pass this test. This number seals your detachment from false peace and protects your path to full liberation with divine completion. It is done. The interference has been exposed. The sabotage has been unmasked. The cycle has been interrupted. You did not imagine it. You did not exaggerate it. You discerned it, and now the heavens have confirmed it. The light you carry was never meant to stay hidden beneath someone else's shadow. The voice inside you, the one you questioned, silenced, doubted, was the very voice of spirit. It was your guide. It was your truth. And now, the time for second guessing is over. You are not bound. You are not behind. You are becoming. What tried to delay you has only deepened you. What tried to distract you has only developed you. What once confused you has now been commanded to reveal itself. And the veil has been torn. You are no longer walking through shadows. You are walking in clarity. Your energy is aligned. Your discernment is activated. Your spirit is untangled. And your future is protected by divine hands. Hear me now, child of heaven. I am aligned with heaven's order. I am no longer emotionally tied to what drains me. I walk in discernment and divine instruction. I receive only what is sent by light. I reclaim everything delayed by interference. And now I declare this over your life with the full force of heaven behind it. The energy is cleared. The cycle is broken. The cords are cut. The false peace is silenced. And the gates of restoration have been opened. Your loved one who passed, they are at peace now, not just because they are beyond the veil, but because they know you are finally walking into your truth. They are with you. They are proud of you. And they will continue to walk with you, not in burden, but in blessing. You are not going back. You are moving forward. And you are moving with heaven. Type Amen 111, 333, 555 if you receive this message and seal this prophetic word over your life. Let the heavens see your agreement. Let the angels respond to your activation. It is finished, and it has only just begun.